All right. So look here. Let me welcome everybody. Let me welcome everybody to No Good Men TV. This is a safe place for us where men come together, basically chop it up, get past a lot of, I guess, pain, insecurities, social dysfunctions that have been layered on us for generations, and really discuss tools and methods and strategies for better interactions, improved outcomes with all of our relationships, whether it be romantic, family, work, regardless. The way we handle ourselves and the way we respond to situations emotionally, everything's on the table for us. And it's the work that we have to do, it's the work that we enjoy doing. And that's what the forum is about, just providing a place where our testimonials come through, and we can save it and put it on the shelf for other men to digest at whatever time that they need it. And so with that being said, brother Russell Bruce, I want to introduce you to our guest, to our audience. Russell Bruce, the also known as Chef Russ, also talented, Pulitzer Prize winning author. Uh, I've been knowing this gentleman, this black man, this king for wow. Russ, what has it been? Easily, probably what, 30 years since the 90s?
It's right around 30.
Yeah, right around 30. Watched our kids grow up.
Wow.
Russ has a beautiful baby girl, super talented, triple threat. Son is a monster, is a beast with the round ball, following in his dad's footsteps. And and so I just can't say enough about you, brother. I'm so glad that you're here to join us on the show today. I will testify that you've always been consistent in my life, right? Never on no BS, always offered upliftment, always offered a smile, always about improvement, self-improvement, and that's never wavered, no matter what's going on, no matter where we were in our lives. When I saw you, when after that interaction with you, even if it was just by chance, I was better for it, right? So just always know that, brother. That's how I see you, and you never let me down, even though you're not. You probably ain't trying, but that's just how you roll. So. Dave, I'm gonna let you speak a little bit on where y'all are, what your relationship is with Russ, how you know him. But I'm sorry, before I do that, Russ, no, we'll get into that later. So that's all I have. I'm glad you're here, brother. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, Russell Bruce. I don't think I know him as long as you. Well, close to it. Because
we all met about the same time.
Yeah,
MCI.
The MCI days, man. Yeah. So Russ is a guy that I knew from afar. Wasn't much interaction, but I've always seen his movements, and he's always included me in a lot of things that was actually transpiring online, within social media. And just a stand-up guy. I mean, he loves his family, loves his children. I mean, it's we need more men like that example out here. And and to have him on the show right now, I think it would definitely be a value add to be able to insert his experiences and his knowledge as far as what he's learned and overcome in his life. So hey man, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, brothers, for having me, and thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, man.
So Russ, tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you, brother. We're gonna do some shameless. I want to pay some bills right quick, man. Let's get some shameless plugs in, man. Tell us about all that fantastic stuff. We see you all over. I don't know where you be at, dog. I just know it's an ocean in the background, and beautiful people around you, and it's not like I'm jealous or nothing. I'm just curious, bruh.
Hey, it's
Good
it's
food always on deck. You know what
oh
I'm saying? You look like you're getting younger. Yeah, not jealous.
Hey, just living the dream, bro. So, once again, to piggyback off what you guys said, Russ Bruce, a lot of people think I'm a chef. That's just something I started doing after I stopped hooping. I need to do something with that free time. So, I fell in love with the culinary arts. Brother likes to eat good. So, if you want to eat like a king, I said, why not learn how to cook it yourself?
Right.
So,
Yes, sir.
and I had downtime in between marriage and things like that. So, I had a lot of time to perfect my craft, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, for a living, I'm an engineer. A lot of people don't even know that. They think I'm a chef. But I'm an engineer, father, author. Just recently, me and my queen co-authored a book, Capacity to Love, which some of that information we could probably chop it
Let me
up
see the
about.
book, man. Post it. I know it's sitting right there
Yeah,
on your desk, man.
there you are. We have them all over the house, man. We're
Let me,
using
let me see. There it is. Pop it up so
using
everybody can
different
get
things.
one.
Capacity
Yeah,
to
there it
Love.
is.
They're on
Nice.
Amazon. They're also on capacitytolove.net.
Mm-hmm.
I also authored a cookbook, and I'm about to come out with another volume soon. Meal
Meal
Alchemy.
Meal Alchemy.
Meal
Nice.
Alchemy, yeah,
Nice.
have to like put the science in there,
Yeah.
The
Yes,
D.
sir.
So, doing other things. I got like a Cajun cream sauce that I market as well. So got several things going on. And then this year about to hit it real hard with some other business opportunities. So
Good stuff, man.
Fantastic, brother. Fantastic. So, brother, you mentioned, and our ears always perk up on No Good Men. So you mentioned divorce, and can you touch on your experience as much as you want or as little as you want, and where you were, where you find yourself now, and how'd you get there, or how'd you
all
get here?
right. All right. So when I first met you guys, because I moved to Atlanta, I think October '91. So what's that, about 31 years ago?
Yeah.
And I was married at the time when I moved from Dallas, Texas to Atlanta. And that marriage really didn't last that long. So I was married 2 years, real young. I think at the time I was about 25. Got married because she was pregnant. I loved her, but I don't think that we were really ready for marriage. But the fact that she was pregnant and I didn't want to be my daddy, I did the honorable thing, married her. 6 months in, she had a miscarriage. We talked about annulling it, and she didn't want to annul it. And after a while, it just,
Yeah.
we was two kids trying to feel our way through it.
That's it,
Yeah.
brother.
I decided the best thing for me at that time was to move on. I did it.
Mhm.
So, I dated a little bit, tried to build my career. We were all working at NCI at the time. I spent 10 years there. And, once I got my career off the ground, I got married again, wanted to start a family, was married for 20 years at that time,
Mhm.
and divorced about 4 or 5 years ago, and started dating again. But by now I'm like a Green Beret at marriage. I hadn't seen the good, bad, ugly, made a lot of mistakes,
Yes,
seen a
sir.
lot of mistakes. I could write the book on what not to do and what to do. So, like right now, I'm in a real good place. I think I really understand what it takes to win at relationships. I think a lot of people put their tail between their legs and run for the hills and give up. But love is one of those things that it expounds outside of just male female relationships. You still have to love your children. You have to love humanity. You have to love what you do for a living.
Mhm.
Otherwise you just skating.
Yep.
So,
How about
I always lick my wounds and start over. And, I grew up in the hood, grew up on, government cheese and all that other stuff. So it's like, I know what it's like not to have stuff. So starting over it doesn't put any fear in my heart. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Yes,
I think
sir.
a lot of people, get caught up in societal norms, religion, things of that nature, and they stay in a bad situation to the point where they do more harm than good, not only to themselves, but for the children as well, because they say they want to stay for the children, but when the children see dysfunction, the arguments, the disrespect, they normalize that behavior.
Right.
Yes,
And
sir.
it harms them in relationships. So
Right.
sometimes it's best, go ahead and cut ties and walk away in love and peace, for the sake of everybody, really, and move on, because it's like, sometimes good things come to an end, they run their course, people grow, in different directions, and once that happens, you have to just man up, woman up, identify it, and decide to move on and become better. And sometimes, and sometimes people were harmed, right? So it's like you forgive, but that doesn't mean just because you forgive that you have to go back to that situation.
Right.
Sometimes you can forgive, you heal, but you move on, because if one person changes and the other person doesn't change, you can't just go back and put a square peg in a round hole and expect it to work.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. So you mentioned that there were some mistakes that you made, which we all do. I'm extremely interested in yours and how because we can only control what we can control, right? There are other
Right.
entities in a relationship, other people involved in relationships, but what part of that is our ownership? So what part of that the undoings, and then the good stuff, what part of that was your ownership? What did you recognize that area of improvement for yourself?
Yeah. So a couple things. One of the things that I seen in my relationship, and I seen a lot of other relationships, is people don't have a common purpose. Some people have no purpose at all, but like, say for example, you have people who have hobbies, whether it's golfing or you know running or whatever. If you're not doing it together, and it's things that you do multiple times a week for long hours,
Mm-hmm.
you're taking time away from building a purpose with your loved ones. So, even jumping back, let's jump back to the beginning. Why do you want to be in a relationship with that person in the first place?
Right.
Like, why do you want to be with them? Why do
Mm.
you want the relationship? If you just want it because you have some codependent behavior, or because they're cute, they have a nice backside. Like, why do you want it? Is it something frivolous, or is it something that's withstanding and for a greater purpose? So I had to start asking myself that question. It's like, if I was going to do it again, why would I do it, and what would I look for in that person, and what will I be able to give them? Because one of the questions people really need to ask themselves: what can I offer that person that they can't get anywhere?
Right. 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 Exactly. That's it right there.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, and one of the things that I always felt that I could offer is me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm not trying to be nobody else. I'm just trying to be Russ. I'm trying to be what I acknowledge, my God given talents and the God in me, trying to
Mm-hmm.
be the best me. And if I could give that to somebody, they can't get that anywhere else. You know,
Amen, brother.
they could get Raggedy Russ anywhere. They got the Raggedy Russ.
Yeah. Hey, I liking that. I liking that too. I'm at David 4.0. So those previous versions of Russ, they definitely don't want to invest in that guy, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. So another thing is, me and the Queen have a podcast, and we've been interviewed on other podcasts about the book and just relationships in general. And one of the things that this past year that was somewhat of a revelation for me is, people have short-term and long-term goals in relationships, right? In life in general. So, like, say for example, when we were all young, we meet a woman, and we're like, okay, cool, we're gonna get married, We're going to buy a house. I want this type of car. You know, we want to have 2 kids. We want to put them in private school. You know, we want to travel every year. You know, you come up with the short-term and long-term goals, but you know, 2 people with adequate employment or businesses or whatever, you can knock that stuff out 3 to 5 years, right?
Right.
But what happens is now you're looking at each other crazy because it's like you met those goals. So what's next? You know, and you get into this routine and it becomes monotonous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, Phelps, the swimmer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He worked his whole life to become the best swimmer in the world. And it's not just him, it's a lot of people that became the best at their craft, right? He worked his life, worked so hard in life to become the best. And once they reach that pinnacle, now they're looking around, there's nothing else for them to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now they go into a state of depression, you know, and they start to get into drugs or what have you. Like look at Michael Jordan. He became the best, got bored, you know, tried to leave, go play baseball, gamble. You know, they turn to things that are somewhat destructive because now they need something else to challenge them. So when I look at short-term, long-term goals within relationship, then I said, okay, but you need something, an infinite goal, something that's going to constantly challenge and grow you, right? So the mind and soul are things that are infinite, right? So if I built every day, if I tried to become a better version of myself, like I'm always trying to be better than the guy that went to sleep last night, right?
Yes, sir.
And if I could do that every single day, I'm going to be a new being. So my queen falls in love with a different man every day. That's what keeps it new and fresh. She does the same thing. So every day we're learning something new. We're sharing something new, and it keeps the fire going. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I think that people will have to tap into something that's infinite, and that one infinite thing is the Most High, and not so much in a religious sort of way, right? And that's
Right.
one of the things we're trying to make God sexy again, right? Because a lot of people like religion is giving God a black eye. They make God seem so human and so small. You know, even trying to describe God, you can't even do it.
Yeah. Right.
Words, right.
Right.
But we know that there's
Like you married God.
yeah, there's something out there, and if we tap into that and we try to live by universal law, and I try to be the type of man that fits in line with what we were created to do here on earth, and the woman's doing what she was created to do, the closer we get to that, the more fluid relationships are. But I think what has happened here, you know, in our sojourn in America after slavery, you know, after integration, we've taken upon the norms and values of foreign people that are totally alien to our nature.
Okay.
And we're trying to find our way through that. And one of the things I could really mention is we are in a capitalistic society where every damn thing's for sale, you know, including your mama. It's like, so it's like you need some type of economic wealth in order to survive. And with what we went through here, you know, in the words of Claude Anderson, as a people, we are at the lowest level of the real live Monopoly game.
Mm-hmm.
We the only ones that came in the game of Monopoly. Everybody sit down, start off with their $200 or whatever.
Right.
But we were set free and wasn't given a damn thing. We were promised 40 acres and a mule. We didn't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, we struggled. You know, we were stripped of manhood. We were stripped of responsibility, and you know, 100 years of Jim Crow. You know, a lot of people want to think these things were in the distant past. This stuff was yesterday. It was in our lifetime. You know,
Right. Absolutely.
Black people and women got the right to vote in my lifetime.
Thank you. And then stop using it. It did turn their backs on it.
Exactly. So anyway, we can move on to something else.
Yeah, but no, I really appreciate that, man. So what I got is I got the the improvement from you. You know what I'm saying? And I think I hear you saying making sure that you have some connection points. Some common connection points, as opposed to most of her day is spent doing this, most of your day is spent doing this, and it becomes more of a domestic partnership, than a real connection between two people.
Right.
Paying bills and taking care of the kids and all of that is the job, but that ends up being all that it is, right?
Right.
And when those two people have downtime, they don't connect. Either she's still on her phone, she watching her TV shows, you're downstairs in the basement doing you or whatever. But those two lives, which are the cornerstone of that family, are not connected, right? And so when you remove the kids from that scenario, right, or something changes in that one of those dynamics change, then you realize, or you're forced to look at, well, what exactly do we really have? So, I hear you saying, but then you really brought it home when you said, but how did it start, right? How do you find yourself in that type of relationship with kids, right, in a house and bills and everything else? And it's like, well, why did you get in that relationship to start, right? Was it for healthy reasons, or was it for, the normalized dysfunction that we live in, which is, it's for women, oh, it's time that I get married. I hadn't been married in a while. I want to get married. Doesn't matter who he is, right?
Yeah.
He just needs to meet this minimum requirement of, is he, I want a provider. I want to feel protected. That's probably really as far as the list goes, right? Like, and then, okay, guess what? It's you, right? Now, do you get her motor running? Do you change? No, you're not the dude that she dreams about, right? Nah, because why? Because that wasn't the first thing on her list, right? The first thing on her list was provider, protector. Now, maybe on the guy's list, he's looking like, oh, well, like you said, oh, she's thick, right? Oh, yeah, she's gorgeous. She's this, she's that. Does she nurture? She gonna take, how does she support you mentally? All of that. None of those things on the table, and they weren't the first things that you thought about, right? So yeah, so we find ourselves, starting and getting and entering in relationships for reasons that really can't actually sustain a relationship between two people. So, that's definitely my takeaway there. I don't want to get into, we can do this offline, but Raggedy Russ cracks me up. I can't wait to hear about that dude.
Right.
I think that's a book though, honestly, dog. That's like remember the old 45s, like that's on the B side, 45. Right?
Definitely on the B side.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey,
Then,
go ahead.
Dave. No.
I was just saying, you said something very key there too, man. That is pretty much, I think the MO of everybody, where we should all be, is trying to be the best versions of ourselves every day, because we talk about that here on our podcast about, presenting the best version of yourself, always working to be the best version of yourself. Of course you owe it to yourself, but the person, if you are in a relationship, or, just anybody that's in your immediate circle that you love, they deserve the best version of you. And when you're continually doing that work, it comes through, and life gets a whole lot better, because you're not contending with, all of that stuff that we, I don't know if you watched the podcast about the Hurt Locker, as far as stuffing stuff in there and not dealing with it. Yes, sir.
Great podcast, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. Yeah. So when you're operating with that mindset, man, it makes life a whole lot easier. That's not to say, like, when you're dealing with that stuff that's in your Hurt Locker and navigating yourself through, on a daily basis, it don't get tough, because hell, we don't live in a perfect world. But it's your mindset and how you handle it. So I just wanted to point that out, man, how you laid into that. And you framed it, as far as you and your queen being on the same page, doing that together. And I've actually adopted that mindset when, not if, but when I get into another relationship in that capacity. That is the top prerequisite. You have to be doing the work and working on yourself to be the best version of you every day. I won't accept nothing less.
There you
So
go.
yeah, man.
There you go. And the thing is, it's like, everybody's on this law of attraction, the remix version of our ancient African history, really.
Right.
Like all this, what do they call it? New age thinking or whatever. There's nothing new about it. It's all old. It's just renamed. But anyway, make a long story short, the universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you what you are. So, a lot of times you see bad things happen to good people. Like, say, for example, we get out of a relationship. Some people just can't stand to be alone and they jump right back into a relationship without putting in the work to heal and understand what went wrong in the last relationship. What can I do better? They want to do the blame game, put it all on the opposite. I think we all been there. We all been there. But, we learn, right? So
Yes, sir.
it's like if I jumped out of one relationship, didn't put in the work, and just jumped into another, I'm coming and you're arguing with this person over stuff that happened back in the last relationship, and they don't like, where did that come from? And you dealing with the girl over here, her mama and daddy had issues and she never healed that, and she's taking it out on you or looking at you sideways or giving you the silent treatment. So over a period of time, in doing work on self and learning how all this stuff works, you become like a little mini psychologist and you could do your own evaluation on the front end, right? Like I've learned more about narcissism over the last year or so. I wish I'd have known it 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Not only could I have helped myself, I could have helped a lot of other people. But one of the things, Bowski, you okay over there, man?
What happened, brother? We heard. The hell just happened?
Bro.
I thought we might have to call 911.
No. All I did, bro, was seriously just trying to close the window. It was getting a little nippy in here, right? The sun fooled me thinking it was more than it is. And I came back to the chair. One of my lights slid off the table and decided to take a dive into the ground, the carpet. And then as I reached for that, I knocked the picture off the side of the wall over here. And the whole time I'm thinking, I was like, bro, you never hit mute. You just hit screen mute. So
yes, and we can hear all of it.
Nah, that's funny, man.
Hey, kudos to you though, brother. You didn't break or nothing, bro. You kept the show must go on, brother. You kept going with it, even though
Yeah, I was gonna keep going till you start laughing.
Right.
Start laughing and start hollering. What did it do?
Hey, yo, Rush, you said something too, because I'm like, yo, stuff falling over there. Is he all right?
I know. I'm like, when he started laughing, I'm like,
okay, man, my bad, man. Ooh,
it's all good. It's all good. We glad you're good, man.
Wow.
But I'm sorry, man.
Oh, it's no problem.
What were you digging in on, man? What did I distract us from?
Yeah, so basically it's talking about how you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are.
Right.
So like if you're still in that unhealed space, and you're out trying to date, you're gonna attract the unhealed partner. You know what I mean? So it's like when you get into that healed space, you're gonna attract the healed person. What you're looking for is looking for you.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is a lot of times people aren't clear on what it is they're looking for. They just say what they don't want, right?
Yeah.
And like, for example, like Google's like the universe, right? So if you put in there no more hockey, what's going to come up? a whole bunch of hockey links.
Wow.
You
Hey.
see what I'm saying? Because it doesn't know, it just knows you're paying attention to hockey. It doesn't know what you don't want or whatever. So if you're sitting there talking about something you don't want, you're going to keep getting that. You know, we need to focus on what it is that we do want, you know, and be clear about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
So, you know, if you want a woman with certain values and virtue or whatever, be clear. Say that's what you want and stick to it. And don't be like, okay, yeah, oh, she's a stripper, she's cute, like this is fire. You know, all that stuff has a shelf life, man. You know, it's
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
like milk or something else, man. It's like you're gonna put it on the shelf, it's gonna rot, and you know, then what? You know what I mean? So one of the things that we talk about in our book is, you know, we hear a lot of people, you know, talking about soulmates, right? You know, but you're going to start hearing this term a lot more in the near future. If you haven't already heard it, it's the twin flame. So like
Twin flame.
right. So a soulmate is somebody that comes from your soul tribe, right? So, you know, I believe in reincarnation. You know, the old ancient church believed in reincarnation up to one of the councils about 400 years after the Council of Nicaea, where they took it out. Like they believed in reincarnation, then they didn't. But you could read scripture and see they clearly believed in reincarnation, right? So a lot of us incarnate, and these souls from previous lifetimes, they tend to find each other here to come back to work off karma. You know, you may been sent back to learn how to love or to forgive or to work collectively or what have you, you know, and we come together with people and it may just be to have a family, to learn the lessons of family. And then, you know, you go your separate ways, right?
Right.
But the twin flame relationship is bigger than just coming together to learn a lesson or to fulfill karma. It's to help humanity evolve, right? So the twin flame comes together at a certain point in time. Like now, you see a lot of the 3D relationships falling apart because they were based upon material things, you know, house, cars, you know, just having a family image, all those things, checking off the box, you know,
Surface
but now,
level.
yeah, surface level. So you see a lot of people now looking at each other sideways, you know, events happen, like the quarantine happened. You know, the guy, say for example, the guy that golfed 8 hours a day, and his woman went off and hung out with her girlfriends or whatever. You know, quarantine. Now they're stuck in the house. Now they really getting to see each other for the first time, and you learn a lot about a person. You learn more at the end of the relationship than you do at the beginning.
Man, you better preach.
Because
look, when you said that to me the other day, bro, I was like, whoa. Can you say that again, Russ, for everybody?
you learn more about a person at the end of the relationship than you do at the beginning.
God, dog, I got about 4 of those t-shirts.
Yeah,
Bars.
you know, because it's like a scientist. If a scientist wants to know what something is made of, what do? They put it under fire. They burn it to break it down and be like, okay, it's 2 parts hydrogen, 3 carbon, or whatever, to break it down to see what it's made of. You know, and it's no different with us in life. You know, you Bowski, you okay over there, bro?
I'm fine, brother. Keep doing you, dog.
You know, you
I'm sorry. Hey, Russ, let me put some
Bosky,
context
just put your
behind
hands
my laugh.
up, bro.
I'm gonna put some context behind my laugh.
No,
Every week.
always something going on with me. Whatever, dog.
Bo is gonna be cracking up when you see this shit, man.
Yeah,
He's
man.
gonna be cracking up.
Whatever. All right, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna fix that. Y'all gonna stop laughing at me, bro.
Hey, man, you better stop making us laugh.
David.
All right, man. Okay. All right.
Thought you were my friend, bro. Supposed to be a safe space.
Man, this is a safe space,
It
man. But
doesn't
hey,
feel that safe to me right now. And,
right
you
now,
know,
no. I'm sorry, sir.
You're gonna need to get that podcast kit where everything connected and bolted
Yep.
down.
oh,
Boom.
there is such a thing. Oh, okay. Y'all are so freaking helpful. Thank you. Oh, this is not working. Okay, I'm sorry, Russ. I
It's all
totally
good.
distracted you from your point, bro.
Yeah. We could move on.
Where were we? Where were we, dog? We were talking about?
Yeah, I was just talking just then about, you could find out what something's made of by putting it under fire, and that's what I was saying. It's end of the relationship when things aren't going well, when it's under the fire,
Mhm.
that's when you find out who people really are. You know what I'm saying? Like even during the quarantine, we got a chance to see what our friends were really made of. A lot of people buckled to fear and, turned on each other, you know, over things they had no control over, you know.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me see. So Dave.
Yes, sir.
So what you've heard so far, what's going on with you, brother? What's going on? What question do you have for Brother Russ today?
Yeah, well, I was about to I was just about to chime in. And you were talking about, your previous relationships, your marriages, the divorces, and so on and so forth. Now you find yourself currently with the woman you're with right now. And it seems to be just based upon the information you provided and what we see, well, what you allow us to see is that there is a journey that's being forged right now between you two, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So my question to you is, do you see yourself as far as being the best version of you? Do you see yourself married?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're more married than I was in my previous two marriages.
Right. And it's not
Like
even official, right?
yeah. But it's like she would have to cut me loose. I'd never let that woman go.
Yeah.
And it's because she brings out the best in me, and
Yeah.
she knows how to bring out the best in me. She
Yeah.
knows her role as a woman. She knows that her power lies in her femininity, not in her trying to be masculine.
Absolutely, brother.
She truly understands her power is in her femininity, and she respects and understands my masculinity, and she feeds it. So it's like we constantly work on ourselves and each other. Like we heal each other's wounds, so to speak. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
it's deep. That's what I'm saying. This whole twin flame thing is deep. Like when I first met her, she's very pleasant on the eyes. So as men, that's the first thing we see. That's the resume.
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, you get an interview, but when I sat down and talked to her, it's like she has a heart of gold. Like she's very empathetic. Here's a woman that out of her own pocket has taken 2 mission trips to Africa to go out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone signal, no nothing, with a team of doctors to treat people who couldn't afford health care, and it's like she gives of herself. Like she walks the talk. She don't just talk it, she walks it. She's very well read. She's very down to earth. She's not into the external thing. Like a lot of people, external things define them. Like they gotta have the Gucci, the Fendi. They gotta have all this stuff to feel good about themselves. She doesn't need none of that.
Yeah. I
She
can't
doesn't need
stand
none
that.
of that, right? So it's like, therefore, we just focus on being the best versions of ourselves. Like for example, like Valsky, in your introduction to me, it's like we all have a brand. Like when people say your name, what do you think the first thing that comes out of your mouth? What do they say about you?
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize your social media page is your living room. You're inviting people into your living room.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yes,
if
sir.
all I did was took 1,000 pictures of myself 1,000 different ways, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, and you're not showing anything other than like I like to show my love for my kids, my woman, show my creativity, that God's blessed me with. I love to share the wisdom that I use to help me in my daily struggles, right? In my
Yes, sir.
daily upliftment also. And I figure if it worked for me, somebody else could get something out of it. I don't do it for likes. I do it because I want to share and help everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yes,
you'll never see me on there posting my car, my house, and all. You don't see that because it's like I show what's coming out of the inside of me. I live inside out. So what happens now, like in the dating world, you go out there, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this. First thing girl wants to do, and they're being trained this way because that's the way society is, right? They're looking all on the external, like they're looking at, are those gators he got on? What kind of car did he pull up in? Where does he work? What kind of bank account? They look at all these things, right? They get in a relationship. Then when it goes south, then they want to know what's on his mind, what's in his heart. Should have checked that first.
Yeah, it's too late for that now.
Yeah, you should have checked that first. Those are the first two things. It's like, what was your last relationship like? How did you heal? What's your relationship with your mama?
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like a woman that doesn't find out what kind of relationship a man had with his mom and the other women in his family, if they don't do that, it's like shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on
That's
you.
That's the first telltale sign.
Yeah, if he struggled with that relationship, for there's various reasons it could be. It could just be what he's seen her go through. So and that affects people. So it's things like that, man. It's like working from the inside out, and I've been truly blessed to find somebody that sees me for who I am. And I hear you brothers on there saying that I see you, and that's, to me, that's one of my favorite things to see. Like Avatar is one of my favorite movies. And I love
man.
I love it because
Yeah.
they would see each other and they say, "I see you," and
Right.
it comes from, it's an African term. Like you hear people use the namaste or whatever. It's all the same thing, meaning that the God in me sees and acknowledges the God or the goddess in another human being. You see them for who they truly are. So like with my queen, she sees who I am at the core. Like when we first started dialoguing, she always spoke to my higher self. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times we're in relationships or when the relationship goes sour, people tend to talk to the lower aspects of your lower nature and they pull out your lower nature. They're trying to appeal to the devil in you and want you to be more godly. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? So It's like we have to learn how to see people at the core, like, because if they're healed or unhealed, that's how you're going to see it. You got to look and listen, ask the right questions. Like you get the best answers by the quality of questions that you ask. So we have to learn how to ask better questions to each other.
Yeah, man.
That's fantastic, brother. Wow. Hey, where's that echo coming from? Is that me?
Might be you. Am I echoing?
No, I hear it coming.
It almost sounds like there's some faint music playing in the background.
It is. Yeah. It's some music playing in the background. I got the background music going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's on on a phone or something. Like.
Yeah, I don't hear echo, but I do hear like music in the
music
playing. Because I think that I think we're good though. I don't hear it now either. So
yeah. I just cut the music off. Yeah.
Russ, you dropping bombs today, brother. You dropping bombs on us, man. You dropping bombs on us. Let's see, man. That brother said, I live my life inside out. Like, wow. Like that's enough. If I don't have any other takeaways, you know what I'm saying? That's fire, brother.
And you could sum that up in this quote, right? This is one of the favorite quotes. It said that man began to lose himself when he discovered the mirror because he became more preoccupied with his image than his soul.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's like people spend more time trying to camouflage and mask all this when on the inside they're hurting, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like the universe is not going to give you what you want. It's going to give you what you are, and
Right.
what you're more so what you're vibrating, right? And what your emotions, like, for example, if you know that on the inside you're not doing good today, you're bad, you're dealing with some stuff mentally, emotionally, and I say, how are you doing? And you go, oh, I'm doing great. And you know good and well you're not, right? The universe is going to respond to what you're emoting. And emotion is energy in motion. So it's like, what energy are you putting in motion? So you could say anything with your mouth, like how you got a lot of people talk about all these great things they're going to do, but they do absolutely nothing to try to get there, right? So it's like you have to be able to not only whatever your thoughts are, and you want to match your emotions to your words, right? And I think that's when people really become dope, when they could walk the talk, right? If I could say something to you and my word is bond, and I'm very consistent at it, that's dope.
Right.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So, Russ, how long does it take, or how long did it take you to figure out what you wanted coming out of, or what was best for you coming out of your long-term marriage, and one, deciding to even seek a relationship, two, that you felt like you were healthy enough to move forward? What was that process like?
I think when it got to the point where, and even through all that, I was still working on myself, even though, there's a lot of clouds, a lot of it wasn't sinking in. It makes it a lot harder, right? But, in my quiet time, when I'm cooking, I got my music playing, I'm all alone, and I got my candle burning, I found a way to put myself into this good space, right? Like, say, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10 energy vibration level, right? Say, you just feeling like, all right, you're at a 5, and it's a Saturday afternoon. I would go hit the gym. That would raise me up. I would come home, looking on Instagram. I see all these urban chefs cooking all these great meals. I'm like, man, I could do that. And I look in the refrigerator, see what I got. I got everything to make my version of it. Could make this dope meal, burn a candle, put some music on. You know what I'm saying? And I create my own energy and my own vibe. Now I'm like up there 8, 9, 10. I've created that energy for myself. And whenever I was able to consistently do that, and I was cool with being by myself, I'm reading, I'm putting in the work, I'm understanding what went wrong, what I'm looking for, all that. Now I'm like, man, it would be cool to share this experience with somebody else.
Right.
So
Right.
that's when I start writing down exactly what I wanted. It's like, I want somebody to share this experience with, somebody I could travel with, somebody that really understands me. Really, I wanted a feminine version of myself because I felt that I was in such a good place. You know what I'm saying? That
Wow.
I was like, man, it would be so cool to find the feminine
Wow.
version of me.
That's
And
profound.
and that's what happened. I found the feminine. It was almost like she could read my mind. She understood my nature. She understood all of that. And within a month or two, it's like this woman knew me better than anybody on the planet. And it was
Wow.
because she was very intentional about what it was she was looking for. She told me where she was, if I wanted to engage with her, where I needed to be. And I was there, and we wanted the same thing. Our purpose and mission in life was the same. So now I have somebody. Okay, we're going the same direction at the same speed, and you know what I'm saying. It's like I'm not over here and she's not over there. We're like going together, and it's a beautiful experience, man. I haven't run across anything like this ever in my lifetime. It's almost like when we had our first child, right? You're running around showing pictures, and people are like, why the hell they keep showing me the picture? Because you're so elated and so, and And in their head, you know, we think our baby is the most
We're like, that's
beautiful.
enough. I saw him already. Like,
Yeah,
same as the picture from yesterday. Like, stop
yeah,
it already.
exactly. So it's like the experience where I'm at now is like that. And it's like, it's hard to really explain to somebody what
Yeah.
it's like unless you really go through it to really
Yeah.
be matched up with that perfect match where like mind, body, and soul is like just perfectly. Because I pride myself in working on myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, right? I'm going to
Yes,
work
sir.
out. I'm going to read. I'm going to like, you know, listen to motivational stuff. You know, I'm not religious. I'm more into spirituality. So, you know, every single day I'm doing something to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because I want to
That's
present I want to present a new and improved version of myself every day. And I think what happens, a lot of people, they'll work on themselves to a certain point, and then they'll go out and then they'll become complacent and go back into all the old behavior, all
mhm.
that stuff. Like right now, I can't just go sit in a sports bar and watch a game by myself and drink beer and eat chicken wing. I can't do that no more, man. You know, I'm just at a place in my life now where it's
Right.
like for example, I'm 57 now, right? So like in a basketball game, tip off, somebody come down, throw behind the back pass, and go in the stands. What they do, laugh it off, jog back down. You know, because it's still 0-0, right?
Yeah.
But when you're in overtime, you can't come down and do that.
Yeah. That ain't gonna fly.
You
Right.
can't do that. You
Right.
can't come down and take the chance of that pass going in the stands. Coach, fans, everybody gonna be on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm at a stage in my life where I take things serious. You know, it's like every minute, every second of the day, I want to make it count for something, and it has to be positive. I can't spend hours having conversation with people about talking about nothing. I can't do that no more, man.
How about that, brother?
You know, and if we do it and we expect great things to happen, we're only fooling ourselves.
Yeah, no doubt. Like you said, we in this is fourth quarter, baby. If you don't think it's the fourth quarter, you better check again. You better look up at the clock. It's the fourth quarter. I feel the exact same way. Every day, man, is precious. You know,
Yes, sir.
every moment is precious. And I think for you to piggyback what you were saying earlier, Russ, is when you come to that clarity that although you're building the life that um it's like I think I heard somebody say I want the job that I would do for free, right? I want the life that
Exactly.
that's my not really my dream vacation, but my best utopia. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to another place or another level where it's like, but how much doper would this be to have somebody special and beautiful to share it with, right? Like Paris is dope, right? But if it's just dope through my eyes, when you get to bounce that off somebody that's special to you and they see when you're in Paris, you didn't see that little place over there, right? Or whatever it was that was beautiful. And they said, babe, did you see that? Like you don't you know what I'm saying? Like that's like remember what we did, all those memories those are shared events, shared memories. Uh, like there's nothing better than that. So you gotta have it. So I totally get it. Let me ask you this. You and your queen right now and during and getting to the point where you are now, how do y'all handle challenges, bro? Like because I know they still exist even in the utopia. you know Somebody looks
Yeah.
at somebody like, what did he say?
Great question, man. Great question.
What do you
So,
mean by that?
so great question, right? So one of the biggest things I also learned in relationship is communication, right? So you have to speak the same language. And the fact is, like when we first met, the conversations we had, they never stopped. So we constantly communicate. That's why we have a podcast, because we thought our conversations were so dope. We wanted to share them with the rest of the world. So
Right,
it's like we
right.
are, that's probably one of our strong points is our communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if
Mm-hmm.
something goes wrong, what she does is she keeps me on track, right? So I come from the hood, so it's like I got somewhat of what they say a potty mouth. So, you know, I might curse sometimes just for the hell of it. It's not for the lack of vocabulary. I think I
Thank
can
you.
articulate.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, you know, and being an ex-athlete too, the competitive nature coming. Like I don't call anybody out their name or anything like that. But for words of emphasis, I might use a curse word in it, right?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
But she doesn't tolerate that. So, you know, she'll keep me in check and be like, look, you know, I don't want to talk to you like that. I don't talk to you like that, you know, when we're communicating. I think you could, you know, you're a good communicator. You could, you know, she always speaks to my higher self. She always tries to help me improve. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we could communicate and we could, there's a difference between talking to somebody and at them. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? And it's always in the vibration of construction, improvement. And we do the same for each other. Like if she says something I don't agree with, you know, I tell her I'm the number one defender of me. I'm never gonna not defend myself. So, you know, don't feel that, you know, it's an attack or anything like that. But it's like I'm gonna defend myself. And it may feel different because see, we live in a world where the black man has been subdued and you have a lot of women and men like I've never had a black teacher at the high school or the collegiate level, right?
Right.
So a lot of
Right.
times, you know, like if say a female who's never played sports, you know, never had a black male teacher or anything like that, to hear a black man speak from the point of power or authority is
Mm-hmm.
foreign. It's foreign.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it takes some getting used to. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's like I just pride myself. I never ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
And going back to like what I was saying before is like, what can you give a person that they can't get anywhere? I give all of me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know how to be a boyfriend. I've been married most of my adult life. So I don't know how to be a boyfriend. All I know how to
Man,
do is
man,
a husband.
look, my pad is full, bro. I got to get some more paper. Hold on.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, like for example, you meet women, they're so used to being a girlfriend, they don't know what it's like to be a wife. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
Right.
my,
They may have
bro.
never been married. You know, they've probably been in a relationship that lasted 15 minutes or maybe say 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and like Bosky, I was talking to him. It's like you have some people, and this is men and women, who you know, like you might see that team that they have a great season, they're good during the regular season, but they not battle tested in the playoffs. So they get the first round and they out because they're not used to playing at that higher level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In marriage is a whole different beast, man. You know, a lot of people they just live for that day to say I do to be a superstar, taking pictures in their pretty dress, everybody around. Then when the
Yeah.
dust settles, they're like, okay.
Oh
See,
my
they,
God.
they wanted to be married, but they don't want to take on all the tenants to be married. So you have like going back to what I was saying, like you have the person who wants to be a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and they come in a relationship like I'm not going to do this because there ain't no ring on my finger, and I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Well, any women out there listening, that's the quickest way to get cut. Because here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
My thing is a man, right? I'm gonna come. I'm coming like a husband. If I'm seeing you solely and you know we're being monogamous, I'm gonna treat you is if I'm gonna care for you as if we're married, right? You know, to a certain extent, right?
Absolutely.
And it's going to be to the point if we decided to leave, you're going to miss me. You know, because it's my job to make myself unforgettable. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And a woman is coming into my life to date, and she's holding back, and she don't. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to cook for him. I'm not going to come clean this place. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to show him that I can be a good wife. But you want me to think I'm going to put a ring on your finger and magic gonna happen.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like.
Oh, bro,
You,
I'm
you
over
have
here.
to show up. You have to show up. It's an audition. It's like you have to show up and show that person
Right.
what they're going to miss if you don't select me.
Please let me interject. But what we have out here is, you know how difficult that is for them, because my question is, if you've never seen a healthy man, right? If you don't have those experiences, right, then you don't have it to pull from, and so you believe that when this healthy man approaches you, the one that my dog just said, he doesn't know how to be a boyfriend, right? And so when you don't believe it. So like you said, Russ, when you shoot your shot, you move as a husband, you move as a provider, you move as a protector, you move in that space, and you do it because you've already qualified this lady as, I mean, as potential for sure. And she can't believe it. So she sits on the sideline and holds back, right? She holds back all that stuff that you just talked about, right? Well, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do this until this magical time where she's like, okay, so you've done all of this by now. Okay. But guess what? If we're still around, because like you said, normally for many men, you know, we'll just be like, okay, gotta go. Right. And then in her mind, her note is, see, I knew it. He was also BS. He didn't really want to, you know, be with me, or he's just off to the next chick because that's what, you know, that's what men do. No, you didn't shoot your shot, sweetheart. That's what the problem is. He shot his shot. You didn't shoot his, right? And he's well adjusted enough and healthy enough to move on in abundance and not worry about scarcity like you're the last person on earth. So, man, bro, I'm just going to tell you this. You remember what I told you when we talked the other day, and I told you that it's like every time you talk to, you know, some people, right? Some representatives, my man, Russell, Imhotep, Bruce, he drops a jewel on you. And my dude said, I don't know how to be a boyfriend.
Right.
You just set me free. Thanks.
Yeah.
I had like 10 questions I was trying to figure out how to ask and get some type of help on. And because for me, I'm like, am I impatient? Right? Like,
Yeah.
I've heard that, like, oh, you're impatient. Yeah, but I know I go straight to 100, right? But someone I'm dating doesn't understand that for them to get to a date with me, they've already gone through so many filters, right? They've already gone through so much vetting. Like, there were maybe 10 women before them in a very short period of time that didn't make, for it's crass, but the cut, right? But I'm interested. I'm moving forward. I'm shooting my shot. And now you can't believe it because it seems too good to be true. And somehow I'm supposed to still continue to prove myself until you get to a certain comfort level that you think I'm serious. Really?
Great point. So I'm gonna come back to this, right?
Yes.
Hold on, real quick before you
Okay,
go there. Hey, gentlemen, I got to get off. Y'all go ahead and continue. I got something I got to take care of. Everything's cool. Yeah,
You coming back?
No. I'm not gonna be able to come back. Yeah.
Okay.
But y'all continue, man. This has been fantastic. Russ,
All right,
welcome,
my
bro.
brother.
I appreciate you coming on, man. And we'll definitely have to
Thanks
chop
for
it back up
having me.
again, man. Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, we're gonna
All right.
get Russ back on, Dave, for sure. And hey, take care of that. And if we can, Dave, let's catch up later on today.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay, brother.
All right.
All
Peace,
right.
fellas.
All right, be good. All right, Russ. All right. So,
All right.
man.
So what I was gonna say, going back to what you were saying. So when we talk about the capacity to love, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
it's a capacity thing. So if your cup is full, right? If you're say you're full because you know you've done the work, you've been in relationships, you got about 20 years plus of marriage, you know,
Right.
relationships, all that, you know. And the thing is, a lot of people are like, oh well, yours ended. It doesn't mean it was bad. It's not a bad thing, right?
True.
It's like think about all the people in Congress, how many businesses they bankrupt. That don't mean they're a horrible businessman. It's like you learn, you fail, you get better each time, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it just ends. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. Sometimes things just end, right?
Mhm.
People go separate ways and it no longer works. But you've learned and you have all that experience. You're like a Green Beret at this thing, right? So, you know, the
You should be
capacity
if you're
thing.
paying attention.
Right. So if your cup is full and the other person, this is all they got because they've never been in a long-term loving, committed relationship, you know,
Wow.
it could have something to do with their upbringing or what have you. So when they run into somebody whose cup is full and they only have this much, you're constantly pouring into them. They can't do too much for you. You can't even feel. They could give you everything that they got and you can't feel it. And what you have is overwhelming them. You see what I'm saying? Because they're just not used to it. It's like, oh, he's too nice. He's too this. He's too that. Because they're
Right.
used to
Something's got to
toxicity.
be up. Like he's shooting that's just the angle, you
They're
know.
used to toxicity. You know, so it's like, and it just is what it is. And it's like, these are things that can be taught through and healed. It's like, but people got to be honest with themselves, you know, and too many times people just constantly want to be on the defense. You're never going to get better if you don't admit that there's an issue and that there are ways to actually combat and fix these things if you're just willing to work on them.
Right. So look, so how does one make that distinction or that, you know, that decision point to say if this person is worth trying to move forward with, knowing that it's half full, right? Knowing that they're probably being overwhelmed. And of course, I think you would probably say, well, y'all got to have that conversation, right? You got to talk about it. You got to find out where you are. And hopefully you come to a decision or a point where one says, okay, like I see you, I understand. But again, based on previous experiences, you know, they're going with their gut instincts based on bad data, you know? And so does that mean that this person is just no longer potentially a candidate for, you know, for half full as a candidate for full? Like what do? You keep moving forward, you move on to someone else more compatible? Because I think that is a part of a compatibility, you know, issue.
Great question. So the thing is, if that person is good at communicating, like they may have some fears, they, you know, and then if they have fears, admit that. Because now you could help them with that. You know, if you're full, you've done the work, you could share things with them. There's books, there's all kind of things, man. It's like if people read and research and you know didn't solely rely upon a preacher or music or what have you to get their cue, it's like they can constantly grow. You know what I mean? But if there's somebody who, if what's the saying? It's like a person who refuses to learn something new. That's the day you begin to die, when you refuse to grow.
Right. You
Because there's no way in the
Yep.
world you know everything, you know. And the thing is, it's like I've been on this journey since say about 1988 or so, and I know that I don't know anything. You know, in a weird way, it's like as much as I know there's still so much more that I
Right.
don't know.
Exactly.
You know,
If you had stopped in 1988 and said, you know what, I'm good. I know everything I need to know.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's like it's from the cradle to the grave. I'm gonna always try to learn. To the day I die, I'm gonna be growing and learning. You know, and once again, when I come back, I want to be me when I come back. I don't want to be nobody else. And that's another thing. When you learn to love yourself, I know that I'm not this physical shell, right? This is
No
just
doubt. It's a vessel.
a temple
Right.
for my soul. I know who I am spiritually, right?
Right.
And I've fallen in love with that being or that consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And I know what that is. So therefore, it's like we're here on this whole thing that we call life is 7,200 years, however many years we get out of it. It's just a classroom, man, for the soul. We're here to learn, you know, and if we don't learn a lesson, we're sent back to learn. Like if you don't know how to get along with people, you might be sent back to be a monkey or something like that, to work within a tribe, or be an ant to work collectively.
Right. Or like, your vibrations are off to such a point where that's what that's the only vessel that would fit that soul, right? You couldn't come back. You had to come back next time as something who who needed to work on some
Man,
other
it's
areas.
it's really deep, man. And I think if people would really be open up to grow, and I think we're gonna start to hear a lot of new information. Like we're in the age of information. That's why there's so much information that we're being bombarded with. You know, with the advent of the internet, you know, it's like we're making decisions in seconds that our great grandparents it took them months to make, right? You know, something as simple as if you want to go visit your relatives up in New York, you got to send a letter via horse and buggy mail. And how long would it take for it to get to New York for you to get a response back? You know, it would
Right.
take months, right?
Yeah.
And now, you know, with technology, we can send a text in seconds and say, hey, you know, a guy's going to be home on the 25th of March. You
Exactly.
know, get a
Like that
response.
instant. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, we could learn like in like they say in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. There's no reason for people not knowing things today or not growing. It's
Let
a
me ask you
choice.
this. How long in your estimation, and again, time is relative, so you don't have to tell me if it's a month, 2 months, or whatever, 3 months or a year, but how long do you think it would take two healthy individuals to know that, you know, I guess they have something that's I don't know if it's a spark or it's an understanding like with your queen, like how long did it take you to figure out that when you first your interest was peaked and then you said no, there's definitely something there, right? And when you knew there was something there, you move forward without fear, right? And only looking forward to seeing it continue to blossom. How long did that take?
One conversation.
There it is. There
And,
it is.
and you know it's wild. You know, you hear people say that,
There it
but
is.
you
There it
know
is.
when you know when you know what you know.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It's like when you, like I said, it's like she's the feminine version of me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
one deep conversation just on regular life issues and like what wakes you up in the morning and you know what keeps you up at night, like those type things, to hear the answers into, you know, and then the questions that are asked. Like for example, a queen will ask questions that only a king can answer, and vice versa. You get what I'm saying?
I do, Doc. I
You know what
do.
I'm saying? So, and it's like only a queen can answer the questions that a king answers.
Wow.
So it's like when you get to that level where you like worked on yourself and you've gone through a lot, it's like and you're willing to, like I'm willing to lay all my cards on the table with her. I told her everything about my past, the good, bad, and ugly, so she knows exactly who she's dealing with and what she's dealing with. And she's laid all of hers out there. So we pretty much put ourselves out there naked as far as who we
Wow.
are, you know, because we're not really those beings, but we're constantly trying to become better. And she doesn't just talk it, she lives it, right? And I try to live it to the best of my ability. And she helps me be better. I help her become better. And that's the most beautiful thing. You know, and when I met her, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, she is the one.
Right.
She's the
Right.
one. You
That's
know, and it's like our souls introduced themselves to one another.
mm-hmm. 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 How'd y'all find each other?
And see, this is weird, right? So it's like we knew of each other like through mutual friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were
Oh, that's
part of
right.
that.
Did somebody invite you on her show? Did she have a show or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. But even prior to that, like a buddy of mine in Dallas had a platform on Facebook that we were all on. It was a networking type thing. So I knew of her years on there, right?
Okay.
And then you know, we didn't live too far away from each other. I would see her every now and then at the gym I worked out at. And there was an event once that we even sat across the table from each other. But the thing is, I was going through what I was going through at the time. She was either engaged or about to be married. And once again, the universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. I wasn't vibrating on the level to receive her then. She was on a whole different level. She may have been up here and I was down here because I was going through what I was going through.
Right.
So, of course, I was married at the time. I'm not going to try to holler at her, right? So it was like, it was just one of those things that I think she was beautiful, yeah, but it was like, and we could walk by each other. That just lets you know it's like the timing. It's a timing thing. But when I was in a position where I was free and I was working on myself, and when she was free and she was working on herself, then it all came together. You know what I'm saying? Because then now we're the perfect vibrational match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, say for example, say you hit the lotto when you were a senior in high school for $40 million, or whenever you were of that age, you'd probably destroy yourself. I probably would have done a whole bunch of knucklehead things with the money.
For sure. Because you're not, like I know where you're going. You're not ready. Yeah, you can't handle that responsibility.
Yeah, God will bless you when the time is right. She came into my life at the right time.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Mm-hmm. And then again, like you said, the perfect time was the time also that you're ready to receive her, right? And that y'all were vibrating on the same level that you could appreciate, right? And know and see the value, right? That you could actually see her, So exactly. and vice versa, yeah. And so, I mean, I appreciate it, brother. You definitely helped me recalibrate. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still dating, and it ain't. As my grandmother would say, it's more than a notion.
Yeah, man. Just take your time and just know exactly what it is that you're looking for. What you're looking for is looking for you.
Right. See, that's that thing right there. And if you're not careful, then you're blocking it. Right.
Yeah, just vibrate high, my brother.
Yeah. Hey man, I want to be respectful of your time, brother. I know it looks like it's a beautiful Sunday, but it's still pretty nippy out. I don't know what you and the love have planned today, but we keep going as long as you want. But we've been on for, I think we cruising. We almost at the 90-minute mark. We're at 80.
It's cool. We can save some other good stuff for another day.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Because I definitely want to have you on, man. So keep me apprised of your availability. Because I'm thinking maybe once a month or something. You know what I'm saying? That we can just
that'll work.
I'll make sure we get the topics over to you that we want to chop up. And I'll keep definitely putting you on the when we upload the videos. You know what I'm saying? And I'll definitely give you a heads up when this one is going to post. So you can, because we always let all of our guests preview any vids before we put them up. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be comfortable with it. But yeah, brother. I mean, wow. Any questions for me, dog?
No, man. That's
okay.
It is what it is.
Okay. Well, cool, brother. Well, look, man. I'm gonna close it out. No good man today. Just me and my brother Russell Bruce, and we'll get back to you guys. On the flip side, in peace and love and in strength, no good men. That just, there ain't no good men, just men, right? That's what we strive to be. We vibrating at a much higher level, but being a man is all that we need to be. All right, Russell.
All right, peace, bro.
Take care, brother.